I stared death in the
Hello and welcome to another marvelous video. Amongst all Spider-Man's deadly foes, Kraven the Hunter is without any doubt so much more than simply an experienced hunter. Hailed with an unmatched physical power, outstanding keen senses, and a kind of predatory spirit that easily competes with the biggest beasts of nature, he takes his place among Marvel's supreme villains. Kraven isn't just defined by his killing power, but by his rather complex relationships, mysterious abilities, and defining comic book moments. As we prepare for his film debut, let's uncover 10 amazing facts about Kraven the Hunter that bring out the true nature of this iconic Marvel villain. So buckle up, folks. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like the content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means an awful lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Who is Kraven? Kraven the Hunter is one of Spider-Man's smartest and most persistent enemies. Born Sergei Nikolaevich Kravenov, Kraven first appeared in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 15 way back in 1964, courtesy of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. A Russian aristocrat by birth, Sergei sought to restore his family's honor after fleeing their homeland during the Revolution. He discovered his true calling as a hunter, mastering the art of tracking and subduing the world's deadliest beasts with his bare hands. Kraven's transformation into a near superhuman hunter came through a mystical potion provided by a witch doctor whose identity we will keep a secret for now. This elixir enhanced his abilities to peak human levels, which allowed him to overpower even the fiercest predators. Fueled by pride, eventually Kraven turned his focus on hunting Spider-Man, seeing him as the ultimate prey. His meticulous planning and predatory mindset made him one of the most formidable foes in Marvel Comics. The true extent of Kraven's powers. Kraven's superhuman strength allows him to lift nearly 2 tons with ease, which allows him to overcome even the most fearsome adversaries. His speed and agility are far greater than the finest human athletes, giving him the ability to execute acrobatic feats with unmatched precision. However, Kraven's greatest talent lies in his unmatched tracking ability. He has heightened senses that can rival the animal kingdom, making it possible for him to track and pursue targets over great distances, even following Spider-Man's trail through the chaotic sprawl of New York City's rooftops. His deep understanding of nature and years of hunting experience enable him to outsmart and subdue even superpowered beings. Besides his physical strength, Kraven is an excellent animal trainer and handler, able to tame wild animals to help him in his hunting. He also has extensive knowledge of exotic poisons, tranquilizers, and medicines, often preparing highly potent potions to knock out his victims.
Show mercy. They are prey.
Kraven's arsenal. Kraven the Hunter's arsenal reflects his meticulous preparation and expertise as the ultimate predator. He is known to like bladed weapons, and he carries a number of recognizable tools, each with a distinct function. Among his most notable are the vibranium dagger, crafted from the nearly indestructible Wakandan metal that absorbs vibrations, the serpent blade, laced with potent toxins capable of paralyzing foes, and the lion fang knife, a unique blade made from a lion's tooth, perfect for swift and deadly close-quarters combat. To enhance his melee strikes, he also uses Panther's Claw gauntlets, which are specialized gloves that amplify his strength and agility during skirmishes. One of Kraven's most specialized weapons is the Fang of the Spider, a unique blade to counter Spider-Man. This rated edge blade is designed to slice Spider-Man's webs to disable his control over the battlefield. In addition, the blade has been drenched with specially formulated serum that disintegrated Spider-Man's arachnid-like powers, giving Kraven the upper hand in their battles. Although he mostly uses conventional and melee weapons, Kraven has also learned to handle firearms. He has at some point utilized rifles, which are sometimes custom-made to shoot drug-laced darts or other such projectiles. His marksmanship ability is unmatched. Therefore, Kraven is proficient in handling blowguns for stealthy and precise attacks using tranquilizers or poisonous substances. He often uses traps, nets, and other immobilizers to catch his quarry. This tactical genius can further be seen in his gas bomb usage, which aims at confusing or incapacitating someone so that he can gain the element of surprise in a battle or combat. Central to Kraven's imagery is his lion's head vest, a special equipment that serves functionality and intimidation. It was made of leather, including a lion's visage and mane with a reservoir for narcotic dust hidden beneath it, and intricate airflow mechanisms to deploy its incapacitating effects into battle. Another addition to his arsenal is the Kraven, a custom vehicle that acts as a transport and mobile base. The striking design of the van mirrors Kraven's style while providing a practical means to traverse any terrain. It looks like a mystery machine, but is way cooler with wild illustrations. Wouldn't you agree? No dig towards Scooby-Doo fans. Kraven's love life. Kraven's brutish and primal character has been an extension of the battles he fought and hunted, thereby influencing his troubled love life. Two of the most major relationships to define Kraven include Calypso Izili and Alexandra Sasha Kravenov, whose roles have both helped define who Kraven was. His most famous romantic partner was, of course, Calypso, a voodoo priestess and master manipulator. Their relationship was, like Kraven himself, wildly and chaotically focused on power and domination, and Calypso proved fundamental in shaping Kraven's life, introducing him to those mystical potions that augmented his physical abilities and made him a superhuman hunter. Remember the witch doctor I mentioned earlier? Yep, that was Calypso. While the two shared a deep connection, their partnership was not without its darkness. Calypso's sinister influence often drove Kraven to embrace his more savage instincts, and her obsession with vengeance and control created a toxic dynamic that even led to Kraven's first death. Sasha Kravenov appeared much later in the comics as Kraven's wife and played a much different role in his life. As the matriarch of the Kravenov family, Sasha was highly devoted to Kraven and his legacy, so she shared his vision of preserving their family's honor and often acted as a driving force behind their missions. Sasha's efforts to raise him from the grave after Kraven's death turned into that iconic storyline, the Grim Hunt, whereby she plots a gruesome campaign for the resurrection of her husband through dark rituals along with other atrocious deeds. Unlike Calypso's fury and mystical influence, Sasha was more practical and family-oriented in her approach. The loyalty she displayed towards Kraven and the cause of their family showed a more down-to-earth yet equally intense relationship.
Enemies an opening. Shoot.
Kraven's deaths and resurrections. Throughout his journey of life and death, Kraven the Hunter experiences several major deaths and resurrections, and that further shapes his legacy and his obsession with immortality. Kraven's first death marks the end of one of his most popular story arcs, Kraven's Last Hunt. Here, Kraven manages to capture Spider-Man, bury him alive, and begin impersonating him to prove himself the superior hunter. After realizing his victory does not bring peace to him, he decides to commit suicide with a shotgun. His death gives a somber conclusion to his story, symbolizing his failure to escape the madness that comes with his obsessive pursuit of superiority and his urgent need to find meaning for his existence. After Kraven's suicide, he is resurrected in the Grim Hunt storyline. His wife, Sasha Kravenov, plays an important role in bringing him back to life. Sasha and the rest of the Kravenov family use dark magic and mysticism to resurrect Kraven as a part of their plan to continue their family's legacy. However, it is not just a physical resurrection, but also a psychological rebirth. Kraven does come back with renewed vigor towards his hunts. However, he is far more crazy and violent. His rebirth in the Grim Hunt emphasizes his obsession with his prey, supplemented by the darkened conviction that only hunting the last prey can guarantee peace.
I stared death in the face, and for the first time, I saw my true self.
Does that make Kraven immortal? To answer this question, we have to go back to the previously mentioned Grim Hunt storyline, where in a last-ditch attempt, Kraven's wife Sasha employed dark magic to bring him back to life with her family's help. Initially, they had planned to sacrifice Spider-Man in the ritual, but a blunder led them to abduct Peter Parker's clone Kane and use his blood. This botched ritual resulted in Kraven being cursed with immortality, which could only be broken when Spider-Man personally kills him. After being resurrected, Kraven begged for Spider-Man to kill him, but Spider-Man was unwilling to do the deed. However, there exists a loophole to this curse. Kraven can die if he wears Spider-Man's costume, adopts the ideals, and allows his son to take his life. We will get into this in a second. Immortal or not, the jungle's potions effects have greatly slowed Kraven's aging. He has scarcely aged in the course of several decades, although he is way over 70 years old. He still appears to be a man in his 30s. Does Kraven have clones? Not satisfied with having only his daughter Anna to carry on the family name, Kraven the Hunter went to Wundagore Mountain and convinced the High Evolutionary to create 87 clones of himself, each engineered to age into adulthood quickly. After that, he took his sons to the Savage Land, where he taught them the art of hunting. When their preparations were done, he dispersed them into the world so that they could prove themselves. One returned, the last son of Kraven, who killed all the rest and returned to the Savage Land with their skulls. Having been impressed by the efficiency of his last son's brutality, Kraven named the last son his heir and took pride in his ruthless actions. In a Great Hunt storyline, the last son of Kraven mistakenly killed his father, as Sergei had taken Spider-Man's identity both mentally and physically. As he was wearing the spider costume, Sergei had willingly let the last son kill him as part of a ploy to break his curse. In the end, the last son discovered a letter written by his father after attending his funeral, in which Kraven left him his legacy, not just as his son, but as Sergei Kravenov himself, due to being a clone. He seamlessly assumed the role of Kraven the Hunter. This means the current Kraven that we see is not even the original Sergei. Who is Xraven? Speaking of clones, Xraven is the product of a calculated and sinister experimentation by Mr. Sinister, combining the powers of a few of Marvel's biggest characters into one being. Origins of Xraven trace back to an early confrontation between Spider-Man and the X-Men, Kraven the Hunter and the Blob. In this battle, Kraven escaped with the DNA samples of Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Angel, Beast, and Iceman. He later sold these samples to Mr. Sinister for a considerable sum and his own DNA for an even higher price. Fascinated by the possibility of putting together mutant genes with Kraven's improved features, Sinister started working on a perfect mutant hunter. The experiment also included a sample of the Carnage symbiote, but Sinister took measures to suppress the symbiote's sentience to prevent it from influencing his creation. This meticulous process resulted in the creation of Xraven, a hybrid endowed with the powers of the original X-Men, Kraven's physical strength and hunting abilities, and a fraction of Carnage's abilities, though its influence is strictly controlled. Xraven possessed the unique powers of the X-Men, like Cyclops' optic blasts, Angel's flight, and Beast's agility, combined with the Kraven's heightened senses and fighting skills, which were imprinted from Kraven's brain patterns. To make him an even more deadly hunter, Xraven was given a version of Kraven's signature lion-headed costume and armed with 2 vibranium daggers, which he used with deadly accuracy. What is Kraven's connection with Chameleon? Kraven the Hunter and Spider-Man's first supervillain foe, Chameleon, shares a bond that goes deeper than just having shared roles as foes of the bug crawler. The two are half-brothers. Dmitry Smerdyakov, later known to the world as the Chameleon, was born under Sergei Kravenov's shadow, a half-brother and illegitimate to Kraven. Dmitry suffered an abusive childhood with constant teasing and belittling at the hands of Sergei. This painful upbringing instilled in Dmitry feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt, making him strive for validation as he became the masked vigilante known as the Chameleon. Although they have a strained relationship, Kraven and the Chameleon have often allied with each other in their schemes against Spider-Man. One of their most prominent partnerships was in the Last Hunt story arc, where Chameleon assisted Kraven in his grand scheme to bury Spider-Man alive and take his identity. However, these alliances have always been tenuous, with trust issues resulting from their personal histories. Chameleon has tricked Kraven several times using their past interaction to exploit Sergei's weaknesses. Kravenov, on the other hand, was sometimes overbearing with his own good and occasionally belittled the things Dmitry did, weakening their relationship. Kraven was part of the original Sinister Six. Kraven the Hunter was one of the founding members of the original Sinister Six, the infamous evil team created by Dr. Octopus, one of Spider-Man's greatest enemies. This team was first introduced in the Amazing Spider-Man Annual Issue 1, published in 1964. The members included Dr. Octopus, Vulture, Sandman, Electro, Mysterio, and Kraven, all united to finally conquer Spider-Man in a group effort. As a hunter obsessed with defeating Spider-Man, Kraven brought a specific flavor to the Sinister Six. His methods were more about tactics and psychological warfare, since the other members mostly depended on their powers or technology. The primal instincts and hand-to-hand combat mastery made Kraven a unique contributor to the dangerous alliance. Although they had promising strengths, combined, the Sinister Six were always full of internal conflict and arrogance. Kraven's dominant personality and fixation on demonstrating superiority over Spider-Man frequently put him at odds with the greater good of the group. This, combined with the natural egos of its members, often betrayed their efforts and allowed Spider-Man to outsmart and defeat them. After Kraven's death, he was replaced by the maniacal Hobgoblin. is the new Kraven more ferocious. The last son of Kraven, who is basically the new Kraven, has proven himself to be even more cruel and mighty than the former one. He has become a critical threat to Spider-Man in addition to his conflict with the X-Men. The Judgment Day storyline depicts how he attacked Krakoa, massacring a few mutants in battles including Maggot and Icarus. Although Wolverine was finally able to defeat him, the last son refused to stop his vendetta and declared he would return to Krakoa one day and massacre everybody on the island. This Kraven seems to be able to have more incredible feats than his predecessor. He keeps the amplified strength and body characteristics that made the original Kraven a force to be reckoned with, but as of late he appears to have had more genetic mutations via the High Evolutionary. Although he strives to maintain his father's reputation, the last son doesn't inherit his father's humility or sense of justice. Marvelous verdict. And that, folks, brings us to the end of this video. Kraven the Hunter blended primal ferocity with calculated brilliance. His enduring appeal was rooted in his relentless pursuit of purpose, weaving a story that was as thrilling as it was tragic. With every storyline, he embodied themes of obsession, legacy, and the fine line between man and beast. Although the present iteration of Kraven in the comic books is not the original Sergei Kravenov, it only adds to the iconic persona of the Hunter. With Kraven the Hunter dropping soon in a theater near you, one knows that his legacy is far from being over and will only continue in newer ways to fascinate and challenge heroes. What do you think of Kraven the Hunter? Let us know in the comments below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed watching this video, and don't forget to share it with your buddies. I'll see you in the next marvelous video.